How are you guys doing? Today is Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review yesterday's Elite matchups and performances from Tuesday, April 12th. And of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Taking a look at what's going on in the world of sports right now, starting off in the NBA, we are in the midst of the play-in rounds as no teams have been eliminated, but the 7th seeds in the Eastern and Western Conference have been decided. As we get through today's matches, by the end of today, there will be 2 teams that will have been eliminated from the playoff or from the play-in round. In baseball, we are still in the midst of about the first week of the baseball season as teams are starting to get themselves figured out. Taking a look at what's going on with soccer overseas, we are in the midst of the quarterfinal round of Champions League as we are midway through the second leg. And also, the hockey season will be ending at the end of the month. And once we get into the playoffs, I'll get into that. And then taking a look at what is going on with the NBA. Starting off in Brooklyn, the 7-seed Brooklyn Nets would host the 8-seed Cleveland Cavaliers. This came after the Nets and Cavaliers ended their season with the same record. In this matchup to determine who would get the 7th seed in the playoffs this year, the Brooklyn Nets would end up advancing past the Cleveland Cavaliers 115-108. They would win this game by 7 after they outscored the Cavs by 20 in the first half. Or in the first quarter, I mean. On the losing end of this matchup, the Cleveland Cavaliers were led in scoring by their all-star starting point guard out of Vanderbilt, Darius Garland. He finished with 34 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and 6 turnovers in 39 minutes. He shot 13 for 24 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and 5 for 6 from the foul line. The Cavs' power forward off the bench and former champion Kevin Love finished with 14 points and 13 rebounds in 29 minutes. He shot 5 for 11 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3, and he made one of his 2 free throws. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Brooklyn Nets were led in scoring by their elite starting point guard Kyrie Irving out of Duke. He finished with 34 points, 3 rebounds, and 12 assists in 42 minutes. He shot 12 for 15 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and he made all 7 of his free throws. Their goated starting power forward, Kevin Durant, finished with 25 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks in 42 minutes. He shot 9 for 16 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, and he made all 6 of his free throws. With this win, the Brooklyn Nets have advanced to the first round of the playoffs, where they will be facing off against the 2-seed Boston Celtics, as the Boston Celtics should have home court advantage in that matchup. With this loss, the Cleveland Cavaliers will face off against the winner of the 9-10 matchup in the East that will be played today between the Atlanta Hawks and the Charlotte Hornets. I'll get into that matchup in a second. Taking a look at the second play-in matchup that took place yesterday, in the 7-8 matchup out west, the 7-seed Minnesota Timberwolves would end up beating the Clippers 109-104. This came after the Timberwolves finished the season with 4 more wins than the Clippers, and they would go on to win this game by 5 after they outscored the Clippers by 11 in the fourth quarter. They came into the fourth quarter trailing by 6. On the losing end of this matchup, the Los Angeles Clippers were led in scoring by their elite starting shooting guard, Paul George. Paul George would finish with 34 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals in 41 minutes. He shot 10 for 24 from the field, 6 for 12 from 3, and he shot 8 for 11 from the free throw line. And on the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Minnesota Timberwolves were led in scoring by their elite starting small forward and former number 1 overall pick out of Georgia, Anthony Edwards. He finished with 30 points and 5 rebounds alongside 2 assists in 37 minutes. He shot 10 for 21 from the field, 5 for 11 from 3, and 5 for 6 from the foul line. Their starting point guard out of Ohio State, D'Angelo Russell, finished with 29 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals in 37 minutes. He shot 10 for 18 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, and he shot 6 for 8 from the foul line. Their elite starting center out of Kentucky, Karl Anthony Towns, finished with 11 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals as he fouled out in 24 minutes. He shot 3 for 11 from the field and 5 for 6 from the free throw line. With this win, win, the Minnesota Timberwolves will advance to the first round of the playoff picture, where they will face off against the 2-seed Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies should have home court advantage in that matchup. With this loss, the Los Angeles Clippers will face off against the winner of the 9-10 matchup out west between the Memphis Grizzlies and the New Orleans Pelicans to determine who's going to get that 8th seed going into the playoffs. But still, with losses, the LA Clippers and the Cleveland Cavaliers are still alive, as the Brooklyn Nets and the Minnesota Timberwolves have added themselves to the playoff to the roster. Taking a look at what's going on today, now we're gonna start to see the first play-in teams get eliminated at 7:00 on ESPN. We're gonna have the Eastern Conference 9-10 matchup, as the Atlanta Hawks and the Charlotte Hornets. They came in with the same record, but the Hawks are going to get the home court advantage. The winner of this matchup will play against the Cleveland Cavaliers for a chance at that 8th seed in the East, for a chance to play against the Miami Heat in the first round. But the winner of this matchup would have to win 2 games, and that's going to be the same with the other matchup. At 9:30 on ESPN in the Smoothie King Center, the 9-seed New Orleans Pelicans are going to host the 10-seed San Antonio Spurs. The winner of this matchup will face off against the Los Angeles Clippers for a chance at the 8th seed to see who's going to face off against the Phoenix Suns. And today we're going to see the first 2 teams eliminated, as the 2 teams that do not win this game will see their season come to an end immediately. But that's what basketball is looking like. By the end of today, there will be 18 teams left competing for that 2022 title. Taking a look at what's going on in the MLB, starting off in Detroit, the Detroit Tigers would host the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox would end up beating the Tigers 5-3. After the Tigers would tie the game up at 3 in the 6th off of 3 runs, it would be a Rafael Devers RBI single in the 8th that would give them the lead, and then they would score another run right after that from Christian Arroyo's single to give them their second win of the year. With this loss, the Tigers were led out by their starting pitcher, Tyler Alexander. Alexander would allow 3 earned runs off of 5 hits in 5.1 innings. He would strike out 4 batters before getting pulled in the 6th. With this loss, their relief pitcher, Alex Lang, who was their third relief pitcher on the day, would allow 2 earned runs off of 1 hit. He would only register 1 out before he was pulled in the 8th inning, as he also walked a batter. With this loss, he's 0-1 for the Tigers this year. In the Tigers batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. That would be attributed to great pitching from the Red Sox. On the winning end of this matchup, the Red Sox were led out by their starting pitcher, Rich Hill. Rich Hill would allow 3 earned runs off of 5 hits and 4.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 4 and walk a batter before he was pulled in the 5th inning. The win was given to the Red Sox closer, Garrett Whitlock. Whitlock allowed no earned runs in 4 innings, as he walked a batter and struck out 2. With this win, he is now 1-0 for the Red Sox this year. In the Red Sox batting lineup, their center fielder Kike Hernandez went 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs, as he had his first 2 doubles of the year. Their elite third baseman Rafael Devers went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. With this win, the Boston Red Sox are 2-3. That is the 4th best record in the American League East. They are currently trailing the division-leading Tampa Bay Rays by 2 games. And with this loss, the Detroit Tigers are 2-3 as well. They are tied with the Kansas City Royals for the worst record in the AL Central. They both trail the division-leading Chicago White Sox by 1.5 games. Taking a look at what happened in Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Reds hosted the Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians would beat the Reds 10-5. They would win this game by 5 after scoring 6 runs in the 9th inning off of 2 different hits. A 2-run home run from Andres Jimenez would break their 4-4 tie, and a grand slam from Jose Ramirez would virtually give them the win. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Cincinnati Reds were led out by their starting pitcher, Tyler Mahle. Mahle would go on to allow 4 runs in 4 innings pitched. He would walk 2 batters and strike out 4. The loss, however, was given to the Reds' setup relief pitcher, Hunter Strickland. He allowed 4 earned runs off of 3 hits, as he would start the 9th but not finish it. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Reds' batting lineup, their right fielder, Tyler Naquin, went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He was the only player on the Reds with more than 1 hit, as he hit his first home run of the year. On the winning end of this matchup, the Cleveland Guardians were led out by their elite starting pitcher, Shane Bieber. The former American League Triple Crown winner allowed 3 earned runs off of 5 hits, as he would pitch 5.1 innings. He would walk 2 batters and strike out 5 before getting pulled in the 6th. The win for the Guardians would go to their setup relief pitcher, Trevor Stephan. Stephan would allow 1 earned run in the 9th inning as he would strike out a batter, or in the 8th inning, as he was unable to strike out a batter. But with this win, Stephan is now 1-0. In the Guardians batting lineup, their elite third baseman, Jose Ramirez, would go 3 for 5 with 6 RBIs and a run. He would end up a double short of the cycle as he would hit his first triple of the year and his second home run. Their first baseman, Owen Miller, would end up going 2 for 5 with 2 runs as he now has 5 doubles on the year. And then their second baseman, Andres Jimenez, would end up going 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs on the day. He would go on to hit his first home run of the season. With this win, the Cleveland Guardians are 3-2. That is the second best record in the American League Central. They trailed the division-leading White Sox by half a game. With this loss, the Cincinnati Reds are 2-3. They are tied with the Milwaukee Brewers for the third best record in the National League Central. They both sit a game and a half behind the division-leading Chicago Cubs and St. Louis Cardinals. Taking a look at what happened in Chicago, not that far away, the White Sox would host the Seattle Mariners. The White Sox ended up beating the Mariners 3-2. Pretty close game from both sides. Biggest hit for the White Sox would be a solo home run from their center fielder, Luis Robert. On the losing end of this matchup, the Seattle Mariners were led out by their starting pitcher, Matt Brash. He would pick up his first loss of the season as he allowed 2 earned runs off of 4 hits in 5.1 innings. He would walk a batter and strike out 6. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Mariners batting lineup, their elite designated hitter, Eugenio Suarez, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. He would go on to hit his very first home run of the season for Seattle. And on the Chicago side of this matchup, they were led out by their starting pitcher, Vince Velasquez. Velasquez allowed 1 earned run off of 2 hits as he pitched 4 innings. He would walk 3 batters and strike out 2. The win for the White Sox was given to their second relief pitcher, Reynaldo Lopez. He allowed no earned runs in 1.2 innings pitched. He would go on to strike out 2 batters in that span, and with this win, he is now 1-0 for Chicago. The save was given to their elite closer, Liam Hendriks. Hendriks would allow 1 earned run off of 3 hits in the 9th inning, as all 3 of the outs he would register would come via strikeout. This would be Liam Hendriks' first save of the year. No, and in the White Sox batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their catcher, Reese McGuire. He went 2 for 3. With this win, the Chicago White Sox are 3-1. That is the best record in the AL Central, this coming after they won the American League Central last year. They are sitting half a game ahead of the second-place Cleveland Guardians right now. With this loss, the Seattle Mariners are 2-3. They are tied with the Oakland Athletics for the third best record in the American League West. Both of these teams sit a game and a half behind the division-leading Houston Astros, the defending American League champs. Taking a look at what happened in Pittsburgh, the Pirates would host the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs would end up beating the Pirates 2-1 as the Pirates' lone run came after both of Seiya Suzuki's home runs. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Pittsburgh Pirates were led out by their starting pitcher, Jose Quintana. Quintana would allow 1 earned run off of 5 hits in 5.1 innings. He would walk 2 batters and strike out 3, and with this loss, he's 0-1. In the Pirates batting lineup, their center fielder, Brian Reynolds, was the only player with a multi-hit game. He went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he would go on to hit his very first home run of the year. On the winning end of this matchup, the Chicago Cubs were led out by their starting pitcher, Drew Smyly. He allowed no earned runs off of 3 hits in 5 innings pitched. He would strike out a batter, and with this win, he's now 1-0. The save was given to the Cubs closer, David Robertson. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning, and with this save, he now has 2 of them. In the Cubs batting lineup, their right fielder, Seiya Suzuki, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Their left fielder, Ian Happ, would go 2 for 3. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are now 3-1. They are tied with the St. Louis Cardinals for the best record in the National League Central. They both sit a game and a half ahead of the Cincinnati Reds in the reigning NL Central champs, Milwaukee Brewers. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 1-3. That is the worst record in the National League Central. They are sitting 2 full games behind the Cubs and Cardinals at this point. Taking a look at what happened in Tampa, the Rays would host the Oakland Athletics. In a game that would go to extra innings, the A's would strike first with a single from Billy McKinney to go up 8-7. Wander Franco would tie the game up in the bottom of the 10th off of an RBI double, and then Manuel Margot would end up singling and to end up walking the game off for the Tampa Bay Rays and giving them their 4th win of the year. On the losing end of this matchup, the Oakland Athletics were led out by their starting pitcher, Adam Oller. He allowed 5 earned runs off of 5 hits in 1.1 innings. He would walk 3 and strike 3 out before getting pulled in the second inning. The loss, however, was given to the Athletics closer, Lou Trevino. He would allow 2 runs in 0.2 innings as he would not make it out the 10th. He would walk a batter and strike 1 out as well. He would pick up his first blown save of the year, and with this loss, he's 0-1. In the Athletics batting lineup, their center fielder, Seth Brown, went 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their right fielder, Stephen Piscotty, would go 2 for 4 as well. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown Tampa Bay Rays were led out by their starting pitcher, Tommy Romero. Romero would allow 3 earned runs off of 2 hits before getting pulled in the second inning. He would strike out 1 batter and walk 5. The win for the Rays was given to their closer for the day, Ryan Thompson. Thompson would allow 1 run in the 10th inning as he struck out a batter. With this win, he's 1-0. In the Rays batting lineup, their second baseman, Brandon Lau, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and 3 runs as he hit his second home run of the season. Their elite shortstop, Wander Franco, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their first baseman, Ji-Man Choi, went 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a run. Their third baseman, Taylor Walls, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 4-1. That is the best record in the American League East. They are currently the only team in the American League with 4 wins. They are sitting a full game ahead of the New York Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays, who are tied for the second best record in the division. With this loss, the Oakland Athletics are 2-3. They are tied with the Seattle Mariners for the 3rd best record in the American League West. They sit a game and a half behind the division-leading Houston Astros, who won the American League last year. Taking a look at what happened in Philadelphia, the Phillies would go on to host the New York Mets. The Mets would end up beating the Phillies 2-0 to maintain their lead on top of the NL East. They would shut the Phillies out as their first home run. To give them the lead would be a home run from Brandon Nimmo. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Phillies were led out by their starting pitcher, Zach Wheeler. He allowed 1 earned run off of 2 hits in 4.2 innings. He would strike out 3 and walk a batter before he was pulled in the 5th inning. With this loss, Zach Wheeler is 0-1. In the Phillies batting lineup, their catcher, JT Realmuto, went 2 for 4, and their elite right fielder, Nick Castellanos, went 2 for 4 as well. On the winning end of this matchup, the New York Mets were led out by their starting pitcher, Tyler McGill. He allowed no earned runs off of 3 hits in 5.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 5, and he did not walk a single batter. And with this win, he's now 2-0. The save for the Mets was given to their closer, Edwin Diaz. He allowed no earned runs off of 2 hits in the 9th inning, as all the outs he would record were strikeouts. With this save, he now has 1 on the year. Nobody on the Mets team would finish with more than 1 hit, but their center fielder, Brandon Nimmo, would finish with an RBI and a run as he went 1 for 3. Like I said, he hit his first home run of the season yesterday. With this win, the New York Mets are 4-2. That is the best record in the National League East. They sit half a game ahead of the second-place Philadelphia Phillies, and that's where the Phillies sit with this loss. Taking a look at what happened in New York with the other team representing New York, the Yankees would host the Blue Jays in the Bronx. The Yankees would end up beating the Blue Jays 4-0 as they would score 3 of their 4 runs in the first 4 innings, 2 of them coming off of a 2-run home run from Aaron Hicks. On the losing end of this matchup, the Toronto Blue Jays were led out by their starting pitcher, Yusei Kikuchi. He allowed 3 runs off of 5 hits in 3.1 innings pitched. He would walk 2 and strike out 2 as well. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, their center fielder, George Springer, went 2 for 4. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown New York Yankees were led out by their starting pitcher, Nestor Cortes. He allowed no earned runs off of 3 hits in 4.1 innings as he struck out 5. The win was given to the Yankees' first relief pitcher, Clay Holmes. Holmes allowed no earned runs in 1.2 innings as he would finish the 5th and pitch the entire 6th inning. He would go on to strike out 2, and with this win, he's now 1-0. In the Yankees batting lineup, their elite first baseman DJ LeMahieu went 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Their elite second baseman Gleyber Torres would go 2 for 4 as well. With this win, the New York Yankees are now 3-2, and so are the Blue Jays with this loss. They are tied for the second best record in the American League East. They both sit 1 full game behind the division-leading Tampa Bay Rays. Taking a look at what happened in Baltimore, staying within the AL East, the Orioles would host the Brewers from the NL Central. The Brewers would end up beating the Orioles as the score was tied at 4 after about the 3rd inning. In the 7th inning, the tiebreaker would be an RBI single from former National League MVP Andrew McCutchen. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Baltimore Orioles were led out by their starting pitcher Spencer Watkins. Watkins would allow 4 runs in 3 innings as he would walk 2 and strike out 1. The loss for the Orioles would go to their second relief pitcher, Felix Bautista. He would allow 1 earned run in .2 innings pitched as he would finish the 6th inning and start the 7th. With this loss, he's now 0-1 as he was able to strike out 2 batters. Those are the 2 outs he got. In the batting lineup for Baltimore, their center fielder, Cedric Mullins, would go 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a run. He hit his first home run of the year. Their first baseman, Trey Mancini, went 2 for 5. On the winning end of this matchup, the Milwaukee Brewers were led out by their starting pitcher, Eric Lauer. Lauer allowed 4 runs off of 3 hits in 4.1 innings pitched as he would walk 2 and strike out 5. The win for the Brewers would go to their second relief pitcher, Hobie Milner. He allowed no earned runs in .1 inning pitched. He would go on to finish the 6th inning. With this win, he's 1-0. The save was given to the Brewers' elite closer, Josh Hader. He allowed no earned runs in 1 hit in the 9th inning as he walked 1 and struck out 2. This would be his second save of the year. In the Brewers' batting lineup, their shortstop, Willy Adames, went 2 for 4 with 3 runs. Their designated hitter, Andrew McCutchen, went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Their center fielder, Lorenzo Cain, went 2 for 4. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are 2-3. They are tied with the Cincinnati Reds for the 3rd best record in the National League Central. Both of these teams sit a game and a half behind the Chicago Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals, who are sitting on top of the division. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are 1-4. That is the worst record in the American League East, and they are tied with the Rangers for the worst record in the American League. They sit 3 whole games behind the division-leading Tampa Bay Rays. Taking a look at what happened in Anaheim now, the LA Angels hosted the Miami Marlins. The Angels would beat the Marlins 4-3. They would break their 3-3 tiebreaker in the bottom of the 9th off of a fielder's choice hit by Max Stassi that would see Tyler Wade score. On the losing end of this matchup, the Miami Marlins were led out by their starting pitcher, Jesus Luzardo. Luzardo would allow 1 earned run off of 2 hits in 5 innings. He would strike out 12 and walk a batter before he would pitch the 5-inning stretch. The loss for the Miami Marlins would go to their closer, Anthony Bender. Bender would allow 1 earned run as he was unable to finish the 9th. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Marlins batting lineup, nobody on the team was able to finish with more than 1 hit. Their second baseman, Jazz Chisholm Jr., went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his second home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown LA Angels were led by their starting pitcher, Patrick Sandoval. Sandoval would go on to allow 1 run off of 3 hits in 4 innings pitched. He would strike out 6 and walk 3. The win would be given to the Angels closer, Raisel Iglesias. Iglesias would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. With this win, he's now 1-0 for the Angels this year. In the Angels batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their elite third baseman, Anthony Rendon, will go 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his first home run of the season for Los Angeles. With this win, the LA Angels are 3-3. They have the second best record in the American League West. They sit a full game behind the division-leading Houston Astros. With this loss, the Miami Marlins are now 1-4. That is the worst record in the National League East. They are tied with the Arizona Diamondbacks for the worst record in the National League right now, and they're also tied with the Orioles and Texas Rangers for the worst record in baseball. With this 3-game losing streak, the Miami Marlins are sitting 2.5 games behind the division-leading New York Mets. Taking a look at what happened in Atlanta, the defending champs, Atlanta Braves, would host the Washington Nationals. The Braves would pull off a 16-4 win. They would score between the second and sixth inning in every single inning within there, as they would score 13 of their 16 runs within that stretch. On the losing end of this matchup, the Washington Nationals were led out by their starting pitcher, Patrick Corbin. Corbin would go on to allow 6 earned runs off of 9 hits in 2.2 innings pitched. He would walk 3 batters and strike out 3 before getting pulled in the 3rd inning. With this loss, he's 0-2. In the Nationals batting lineup, their elite right fielder Juan Soto went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 2nd home run of the season. Their third baseman Michael Franco went 2 for 4 with an RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown defending champs Atlanta Braves were led out by their starting pitcher Bryce Elder. Elder would allow 3 earned runs off of 6 hits in 5.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 4 batters, and with this win, he's now 1-0. The save was given to the Braves closer, Jackson Stephens. Stephens would allow 1 earned run off of 3 hits in the final 3 innings of the game. He would strike out 4 batters and walk 1, and with this save, he now has 1 on the year. In the Braves batting lineup, their elite second baseman Ozzie Albies went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He would go on to hit his very first home run of the season for Atlanta. The Braves' elite left fielder Marcell Ozuna would go 3 for 6 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs. He would hit his first and second home runs of the season. Their catcher Travis d'Arnaud would go 3 for 5 with 3 runs. Their center fielder Adam Duvall would end up going 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their shortstop Dansby Swanson went 2 for 6 with 2 RBIs and a run. And the Braves' designated hitter Orlando Arcia went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. With this win, the defending champs Atlanta Braves are 3-3. That is the 3rd best record in the National League East. They are sitting a full game behind the division-leading New York Mets. With this loss, the Washington Nationals are 2-4. That is the 4th best record in the National League East, as they sit 2 games behind the division-leading New York Mets. Taking a look at what happened in Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins would host the LA Dodgers. The Dodgers would end up beating the Twins 7-2 after scoring 6 runs in the 8th inning alone, as they would see 5 different scoring plays to see themselves get right back up there. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Minnesota Twins were led out by their starting pitcher Chris Archer. Archer would go on and finish by allowing no earned runs off of 2 hits in the 4 innings that he pitched. He would strike out 3. The Twins' 4th relief pitcher on the day, Emilio Pagan, would pick up the loss as he allowed 1 earned run in the 7th inning. And with this loss, he's now 0-1 as he would strike out a batter on the day. With his loss, Pagan is 0-1. In the Twins batting lineup, their shortstop Carlos Correa went 2 for 3, and then their right fielder Max Kepler would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. On the winning end of this matchup, the LA Dodgers were led out by their starting pitcher Andrew Heaney. Heaney would allow 1 run in 4.1 innings as he would strike out 5. The win for the Dodgers would go to their 3rd relief pitcher Daniel Hudson. He would go on to allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitched. And with this, he would go on to pitch the 7th inning as he would strike out a batter. With this win, he's 1-0. In the Dodgers batting lineup, they would be led by their elite starting first baseman, Freddie Freeman. He would go 2 for 4 with a run. Additionally, their second baseman, Gavin Lux, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. With this win, the LA Dodgers are now 2-2. I'm looking at where they are sitting in the National League at this very moment. They are currently holding the 4th best record in the National League West. They are sitting a game and a half behind the division-leading Colorado Rockies. With this loss, the Minnesota Twins are now 2-3. Looking at where they are sitting within the American League Central, they are currently holding on to the worst record in the division alongside the Royals and the Tigers. They all sit a game and a half behind the division-leading Chicago White Sox. Taking a look at what is happening in St. Louis in this intra-Missouri matchup, the Cardinals would host the Kansas City Royals from the American League. The Cardinals would win this game 6-5 after scoring 3 runs in the first, and they would score another 3 runs in the fourth. On the losing end of this matchup, the Kansas City Royals would be led out by their starting pitcher, Daniel Lynch. Lynch would allow 6 earned runs off of 9 hits in 5 innings. He would walk a batter and strike out 7, and with this loss, he's 0-1. In the Royals batting lineup, their elite designated hitter, Salvador Perez, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He would hit his first and second home runs of the season. Their center fielder, Michael A. Taylor, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. He would hit his very first home run of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the hometown St. Louis Cardinals were led out by Dakota Hudson. He allowed 3 earned runs off of 5 hits in the 4 innings that he pitched, and he would strike out 4. The win for the Cardinals was given to their first relief pitcher, Jordan Hicks. Hicks allowed no earned runs in the 2 innings that he pitched, as he walked a batter and struck out 2. With this win, he's now 1-0. The save was given to the Cardinals closer, Giovanni Gallegos. Gallegos allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he picked up his first save of the year. In St. Louis's batting lineup, their elite designated hitter, Nolan Arenado, would go 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 3rd home run of the year. Their future Hall of Fame designated hitter, Albert Pujols, would go 3 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs as he would hit his very first home run after coming back to the St. Louis Cardinals for the first time in like a decade. Their second baseman, Tommy Edman, would go 2 for 4 with a run. And then, of course, the Cardinals catcher, Andrew Knizer, went 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs, hitting his first home run of the year. With this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are 3-1. They are tied with the Chicago Cubs for the best record in the National League Central. They both sit a game and a half ahead of the Cincinnati Reds and the Milwaukee Brewers for right now. With this loss, the Kansas City Royals are 2-3. They are tied with the Detroit Tigers and the Minnesota Twins for the worst record in the American League Central Division. They are sitting a game and a half behind the division-leading Chicago White Sox. Taking a look at what happened in Dallas, or at least in the Dallas area, the Texas Rangers would host the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies would win this game 4-1 so that their record would be 4-1. After the Rangers scored the very first run of the game, the Rockies would tie it off of a Charlie Blackmon single in the 3rd, and then a Chris Bryant RBI double would give them the lead. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Rangers were led by their starting pitcher, Martin Perez. Perez would allow 3 earned runs off of 7 hits and 4 innings pitched. He would walk a batter and strike out 2. With his loss, he's 0-1. In the Rangers batting lineup, their catcher, Mitch Garver, went 2 for 3 with a run. And then their third baseman, Andy Ibanez, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. On the winning end of this matchup, the Colorado Rockies were led out by their starting pitcher, Chad Kuhl. Kuhl allowed 1 earned run off of 2 hits in 4.1 innings as he would walk 4 and strike out 5. The winner of this matchup the win for this match was given to Jhoulys Chacin. The Rockies' first relief pitcher would allow no earned runs as he would finish off the 5th inning going all the way through the 7th. He would walk a batter and strike 1 out. With this win, Jhoulys Chacin is 2-0. The save would be given to the Rockies' closer, Daniel Bard. Bard allowed no earned runs off of 1 hit in the 9th inning, and he picked up his second save of the year. In the Rockies' batting lineup, their right fielder, Charlie Blackmon, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI. He was the only player on the team with more than 1 hit. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are 4-1. That is the best record in the National League West. They sit half a game ahead of the second place San Diego Padres within that division. And with this loss, the Texas Rangers are 1-4. That is the worst record in the American League West. Alongside the Baltimore Orioles, that is the worst record in the American League. And sitting alongside the Miami Marlins and the Arizona Diamondbacks, it is the worst record in the entire league, not just the American League. The Rangers are currently sitting 3 whole games behind the division-leading Houston Astros at the moment. Speaking of the Astros went to Phoenix and were able to beat the Diamondbacks 2-1. After the score was tied at 1, Going into the top of the ninth, it would be an RBI single from Michael Brantley to give the Astros win number 4. On the losing end of this matchup, the hometown Arizona Diamondbacks were led out by their starting pitcher, former World Series superhero Madison Bumgarner. He allowed 1 earned run off of 5 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched. He would walk 2 batters and strike out 2. The loss for the Diamondbacks would go to their closer, Mark Melancon. Mark Melancon would allow 1 earned run off of 2 hits in the 9th inning, as he would walk a batter as well. With this loss, Mark Melancon is 0-1 for the Diamondbacks this year. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their first baseman, however, Christian Walker, would end up going 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 2nd home run of the season for the Arizona Diamondbacks' lone run. On the winning end of this matchup, the Houston Astros were led out by their starting pitcher, Luis Garcia. Garcia allowed no earned runs off of 2 hits in the 4 innings that he pitched. He would walk 2 batters and strike out 1. The win for the Astros was given to their setup relief pitcher, Hector Neris. Neris allowed no earned runs in the 1 inning that he pitched, which was the 8th inning. He would strike out 2 batters. With this win, he's now 1-0. The save was given to the Astros closer, Ryan Presley. He would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. He picked up his 3rd save of the year. In the Astros batting lineup, their left fielder, Michael Brantley, went 3 for 5 with an RBI. And then their center fielder, Jose Siri, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. With this win, the Houston Astros are now 4-1. The former AL champs are holding the best record in their division, and they're tied with the Tampa Bay Rays for the best record in the American League. They are also tied with the Colorado Rockies for the best record in all of baseball. They are sitting a game and a half ahead of the second place LA Angels within their division at this moment. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are 1-4. That is the worst record in the National League West. They are sitting 3 whole games behind the division-leading Colorado Rockies. They are tied with the Miami Marlins for the worst record in the National League. They are also tied with the Baltimore Orioles and Texas Rangers for the worst record in baseball right now. Taking a look at what's happening in San Francisco, the Giants would host the San Diego Padres, and the Giants would beat the Padres 13-2 after scoring 10 runs in the very first 2 innings of the game. And looking at how the Padres fared on the losing end, they were led out by their elite starting pitcher, Yu Darvish, as Yu Darvish would allow 9 earned runs off of 8 innings and 1.2 innings pitched. The Padres' elite starting pitcher out of Japan would strike out 2 and walk 2 before getting pulled in the 2nd inning. With this loss, Yu Darvish is 0-1 on the 2022 season. In the Padres' batting lineup, their right fielder, Will Myers, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI. He was the only player with more than 1 hit as he hit his 2nd double of the season. On the winning end of this matchup, the San Francisco Giants at home were led out by their starting pitcher, Alex Cobb. Cobb allowed 2 earned runs off of 4 hits in the 5 innings that he pitched. He would walk 2 batters and strike out 10, and with this win, he's now 1-0. In the Giants batting lineup, their right fielder, Mike Yastrzemski, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their first baseman, Brandon Belt, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 2nd home run of the season. The San Francisco Giants' left fielder, Jock Peterson, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. The Giants' third baseman, Wilmer Flores, would go 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs. Wilmer Flores would hit his first home run of the season. Their second baseman, Thairo Estrada, would go 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. Their catcher, Joey Bart, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the San Francisco Giants are 3-2. That is the 3rd best record in the National League West. They are sitting a full game behind the division-leading Colorado Rockies. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are now 4-2. That is the 2nd best record in the NL West as they sit half a game behind the division-leading Colorado Rockies at this point. So that is what the MLB is looking like following these matchups. Taking a look at what is going on today. First, starting off to take a look at what's going on, because the only matchup that's semi-prime time is the Tigers and the Red Sox. That's going to be on ESPN+, but I'll get to that in a second. Going through all the single games that are going to take place today at 12:20 in Truist Park. Max Fried in the defending champs Atlanta Braves are going to host Josiah Gray and the Washington Nationals. At 12:35, Zach Thompson and the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to host Kyle Hendricks and the Chicago Cubs. Kyle Hendricks enters this matchup with a 1.69 ERA, as he still has yet to get a win or a loss to his record. At 12:35 at the same time, Nick Lodolo and the Cincinnati Reds are going to host Tristan McKenzie and the Cleveland Guardians. At 1:05, Aaron Nola and the Philadelphia Phillies are going to host the New York Mets, led by their goated starting pitcher and the only active pitcher to have won the Cy Young in the American League and National Leagues, Max Scherzer. Scherzer enters this matchup with a 1-0 record, as he holds a 4.5 ERA this season, basically meaning that he's allowed a run in every other inning. At 1:10 on ESPN+, Eduardo Rodriguez and the Detroit Tigers are going to host Nathan Eovaldi and the Boston Red Sox. At the same time, at 1:10, Chris Paddock and the Minnesota Twins are going to host the LA Dodgers, led by the Dodgers' goated starting pitcher Clayton Kershaw. At 1:15 in Busch Stadium, Adam Wainwright and the St. Louis Cardinals are going to host Zach Greinke and the Kansas City Royals. Adam Wainwright enters this matchup with a 1-0 record, and Zach Greinke enters this matchup having not won. Wainwright he still has yet to allow an earned run this season. Zach Greinke enters this matchup with a 1.59 ERA. At 3:40 at Chase Field, the Arizona Diamondbacks, led by Merrill Kelly, are going to host Framber Valdez in the American League West leading Houston Astros. They're going to be led by Framber Valdez. Valdez enters this matchup with a 1-0 record, as he still has yet to allow an earned run. At 3:45 in Oracle Park, Logan Webb and the San Francisco Giants are going to host Sean Manaea and the San Diego Padres. Logan Webb enters this matchup having not won or lost a game, but he still has a 1.50 ERA. Sean Manaea enters this matchup with a 1-0 record, as he still has yet to allow a run so far in the 2022 season. At 6:40 in Tropicana Field in Tampa, Florida, Shane McClanahan and the Tampa Bay Rays are going to host Frankie Montas and the Oakland Athletics. McClanahan enters this matchup having yet to allow an earned run on this season, and he still has yet to record a win or a loss. At 7:05 in Oriole Park at Camden Yards, John Means and the Baltimore Orioles are going to host Corbin Burns and the Milwaukee Brewers. Taking a look at what's happening at 7:05 in Yankee Stadium, the New York Yankees, led by their elite starting pitcher Garrett Cole, are going to host Jose Barrios and the Toronto Blue Jays. Cole has yet to win a game this season, as he enters his matchup with a 6.75 ERA. At 7:10, last but not least, in Guaranteed Rate Field, Dallas Keuchel and the Chicago White Sox are going to host the Seattle Mariners, led out by their elite starting pitcher Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray enters his matchup with a 1-0 record, holding a 1.29 ERA, coming off of a season where he would win the American League Cy Young for the Toronto Blue Jays. So that is what the MLB is looking like going into today. And then taking a look at what's going on with soccer overseas, taking a look at what was going on here in the second leg of the quarterfinals. In the first matchups that would take place to see the first two teams advance to the semifinals. First, Villarreal from Spain. Villarreal and Real Madrid would be the two teams to advance, as the two Spanish teams that made it to this round are going to be going. Taking a look at how they were able to make it through, Villarreal would end up beating Bayern 1-1, but coming into this matchup, Villarreal would hold a 1-0 aggregate after their lone goal in the first matchup. In this game, Bayern Munich would end up scoring the first goal off of the foot of their elite Polish striker, Robert Lewandowski, to tie it up on aggregates. Villarreal, however, would end up taking the aggregate lead from Samu Chukwueze in the 88th minute. The game would end up as a 1-1 draw, but Villarreal would advance to the semifinals of Champions League on aggregates, where they will face off against the winner between Liverpool and Benfica. Taking a look at the other matchup that would take place in Champions League, Real Madrid would end up hosting Chelsea. Coming into this matchup, Real Madrid held a 3-1 goal advantage after Karim Benzema had scored a hat-trick for them in their first leg. And then for Chelsea, their lone goal had come from Kai Havertz in the 40th minute. In this second leg, Chelsea would actually get a chance to tie up the aggregate. The first goal in this game would see Chelsea score from Mason Mount in the 15th minute, their English forward. Antonio Rudiger, their elite German defender, would end up tying the aggregate, and as Chelsea took a 2-0 lead in the 51st minute. Chelsea would end up taking the lead in this aggregate matchup in the 75th minute with a goal from their German striker, Timo Werner. Real Madrid, however, would tie the game up 5 minutes later with a goal from their Brazilian forward, Rodrigo, off of an amazing pass from their elite midfielder, Luka Modric. And then the goal that would put Real Madrid through would be a goal in the 96th minute from their elite French striker, Karim Benzema, who got them through that first leg and helped get them through PSG as well, as he is looking to be a Champions League hero most definitely. But following this, Real Madrid will advance to the semifinal where they will face off against the winner between Atletico Madrid and Man City. As Bayern Munich, the reigning Bundesliga champs, will make sure that with them losing, there will not be a German team that wins Champions League this year. And of course, with Chelsea losing, that means they will no longer repeat, meaning that this season we will have a new Champions League winner. And there are 6 teams left. And by the end of today, there are only going to be 4 teams left. Both games today are going to be taking place at 3 o'clock. First of them is going to see Atletico Madrid host Manchester City. Looking at how Atletico Madrid would, of course, make it to this round, Atletico Madrid ended up finishing second in their group to Liverpool, and they would end up making it through the group of 16 after they would end up beating Man U 2-1. In the first leg of the quarterfinal rounds, looking at how Manchester City got here, Manchester City would make it here after they would end up winning their group with PSG. And in the round of 16, they would end up beating Sporting 5-0 on aggregate, Sporting Lisbon. But in the first leg of this quarterfinal matchup, Man City was able to take the 1-0 lead as their lone goal of this matchup came from their elite Belgian striker, Kevin De Bruyne. This next matchup will be in Madrid, but Man City does hold that aggregate lead, as with no away goal rule, if it is tied, they should go to extra time. But this will be a very interesting matchup to see. And the winner of this matchup will for sure go on to face off against Real Madrid in the semifinal of Champions League. At the same time, Liverpool is going to host Benfica, the only team that made it to the quarterfinal round out of Portugal. Looking at how Liverpool made it here, they would not lose a game in group stage to make it out of Group B. And in the round of 16, they ended up beating Inter Milan 2-1 on aggregates. Looking at how Benfica was able to make it here out of Portugal, they were the team that finished second in Group E to Bayern Munich, knocking Barcelona to Europa League. And in the round of 16, Benfica would end up advancing past Ajax 3-2 to make it here. In the first matchup between Benfica and Liverpool would end up winning that matchup 3-1, so they hold a 3-1 aggregate lead. Liverpool's first goal came from Ibrahima Konate. Their second goal will come from their elite Senegalese forward Sadio Mane before the half. Benfica would open the half with their lone goal of the game from Darwin Nunez, and Liverpool would see their third goal come from Luis Diaz, the player who started his season playing in the Portuguese Liga. And looking at how this matchup is going to fare today, this one's going to be in Liverpool, as Liverpool holds a 2-goal advantage. We saw that at least even with a 2-goal advantage yesterday, Real Madrid wasn't completely safe. But with this win, the winner of this match between Liverpool and Benfica will be facing off against Villarreal in the semifinals after Villarreal beat Bayern. But after today, there should be 4 teams left that will make up the Champions League semifinal, and I will preview that round once we get to those days. But that is what we have going for soccer today, and that's everything that's really going on. I do want to thank the ESPN, the NBA, the MLB, and FIFA sites for giving me all the facts and figures that I needed for today. And with that said, once all of today's exhibitions and matchups are done, I'm going to come back tomorrow on Thursday, April 14th for another episode. So I want to thank everyone for listening. I hope all is well, and I will catch you with more tomorrow. Thanks for listening. And thanks for listening to The Elite. Today is Wednesday, April 13th. And like I said, I'm James Sims. I want to thank you for following along. I do want to apologize for all the names that I butchered. I do eventually plan on getting them right. And I do think it's really excited to really kind of advance through this year one day at a time. Thanks for listening. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out.